Good morning and welcome to the Business Today show. This is the 9 a.m. show where we get you all the opening action of the day. But first up, let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and the financial world. Silver smashes through the $80 per ounce barrier, spikes to $82.67 before retreating on profit booking by investors. The white metal has racked up gains of an incredible 182% this calendar year. Weaker dollar, lower borrowing costs, geopolitical uncertainties have all contributed to this rally. Countdown begins to the last three trading sessions of this year. The Asian markets have a mixed bag after a dull Friday on the Wall Street as well. The Nifty has been seen holding its 26,000 mark in thin volume trade. All eyes will be on Coforge, which is buying US-based Encora for $2.35 billion and shipping stocks after government announces 45,000 crore rupees of shipbuilding incentive scheme. Spotlight on defense stocks today as Defense Acquisition Council is likely to approve the deals worth 80,000 crore rupees in the meeting. Reports also indicate procurement of several hundred medium-range surface-to-air missiles, Astra Mark II, air-to-air missiles, precision-guided munitions, and even airborne early warning systems are on the agenda. It's been a record harvest in the primary market this year, with the main board IPOs raising an unprecedented 1.75 lakh crore rupees. But in a bitter reality check for investors, nearly half of the newly listed stocks are trading below their listing price. This again raises concerns about valuations. The auto market is all set to heat up in January with at least 7 launches lined up. Maruti to venture into electric territory with e-Vitara, Mahindra to revamp its flagship XUV 700, Renault Duster to make a comeback, and Tata to facelift its mini blockbuster Punch. Let's straight away talk about how the markets are going to be trading in this fresh and new week. In fact, the last trading week of 2025. We are now joined by Shel Bhatnagar, the Chief Analyst and Editor for Markets at Business Today Television. Shel, give us a sense of what exactly are the markets looking at. Remember, the holiday mood at Wall Street already set in with the Friday mood sombering a little bit. Although after record high levels that were seen on S&P 500 that we saw on Friday, this morning, of course, the Asian markets also were trading on a mixed zone. Right now, when we look at what the GIFT Nifty has given way to the pre-open that is settled, it's just indicating of, flattish with a positive bias start, 21 points higher for the Nifty at 26,063. Let's look at how things are shaping up. Of course, like we already mentioned in the headlines, it's going to be the defense story that's going to be at the center of focus with the DAC meeting today. And therefore, all those defense names will be in focus, the likes of HAL, BEL. In fact, the shipbuilding stocks will also be in focus. Let me go across to our guest now, Mr. Avinash Kurakshakar, market expert, is now joining in with us. Warm welcome to you, Avinash. Good to have you with us. Well, first up, help us understand how are you looking at the last trading week of 2025? This entire year has seen a lot of uncertainties that the markets have really navigated through, managing to still stay afloat by the end of the year, even if not managing exorbitant returns for investors.
Yeah, good morning, Sakshi. I think markets are going to be in a holiday mood. I think volumes are going to be pretty less. My sense is that, again, as I mentioned earlier on your shows, it's going to be a stock pickers market. The Nifty or the Sensex is going to remain in a very narrow range. And I think markets are now clearly awaiting for the second week of January, possibly for the Q3 numbers. So it will be, again, a data-driven stock-specific market. You'll see a lot of stock-specific activity. And I think some pre-budget rally will also begin, because this time there are expectations that the budget this time could be offering some further concessions to the industry. So I think, probably in this week, nothing great could happen. I think some amount of value buying stock specific wise could happen. The Nifty could trade in a very narrow range. I don't think you're going to see any big upside in the very short term. But yes, I think the real point which is important is, I think from the first week of January, the markets would be looking at the Q3 numbers and then some news flows, from the pre-budget kind of expectation. So net, I think one has to be stock specific. That's the only way one can play in this market, at least for the coming week.
Absolutely. Shell is with us now. Shell, good morning to you. What are you looking at into the markets? What's important for all the investors to track today?
Well, Sakshi, most of it has already been discussed. I'm looking at an overstretched metals index and an overstretched banking piece. So any dips there or any profit booking there is an opportunity again to get back into stocks like Hindustan Zinc, Hindustan Copper. The underlying metal is very strong. And of course, the energy space, therefore BPCL, HPCL and RIL on the long side. One word of caution, the most popular trade in the world is silver. Everybody, his mother, her driver, the gardener, and most probably every single investor is on the long side. It doesn't work that way. One has to be very, very cautious.
One has to be very, very cautious. Let's discuss that. Avinash, bringing you into that conversation. A whopping 182% of a return on silver prices. It's shot up above anybody's imagination, and any technical analyst also tracking silver very, very closely could not have imagined these kind of levels of $82 an ounce within 2025. Silver has turned out to be the new gold. How are you advising investors who are already buying silver amidst all that shortage and FOMO?
No, I think Sakshi, as Shale rightly pointed out, that when everybody starts buying the same commodity and at elevated levels, then I think something is wrong. And I think most technical analysts have pointed out that this is probably the first time silver has crossed a level which is beyond their expectations. From a fundamental perspective, silver is going to be in demand. There's no doubt about it. The structural opportunity for the next 2 to 3 years looks very strong. But in the short term, one can expect a reasonable profit correction. I think there are going to be people who are going to book out their money. So at these levels, even if you want to buy silver ETFs or you want to play directly on silver, I think it would be a good idea for a reasonable correction to happen. And I think that is very much possible. So we have been telling our clients to not buy immediately silver ETFs, wait for some time. I think you could definitely get a good entry point. At that point, maybe silver could be a risk reward, maybe a 10% or little more than that a correction could definitely happen. And I think once that happens, the markets would definitely get corrected. And I think it's definitely looking very much possible. At some point, there would be a very deep correction, and that would be a good time for long-term investors to chip in, but not at these levels. At these levels, it's better to avoid.
What about those who are playing proxy with the stock market stocks, favorite stocks like Hindustan Zinc on silver? The stock has already rallied 51% this year. Most of it has come, this move has come up in the last 6 months odd. And also for copper, which is also rallying at record high levels. We are looking at Hind Copper now being a favorite of investors. How are you looking at these metal stocks?
I think investors who have purchased the stock earlier and are sitting on profits, the wise thing would be that at least some part of the profit should be booked out. Cash flow should be put out separately, because even if you look at Hindustan Copper, from 435 to almost 545, this rally has gone significantly fast in a very short period of time. The same thing applies for Hindustan Zinc. So at these levels, fresh buying is definitely not advisable. I think at least book out 25 to 30% of your profits and stay invested. Numbers are going to be good, but I think rally has happened very fast.
This rally has happened very fast. 4 seconds to go before we look at the market opening. Shell, over to you for what all are you seeing at the opening tick today?
Well, 50 points higher on the Nifty, 83 points higher on Nifty Bank, and the IT index is 0.5% higher. We are looking into the monthly expiry for the Nifty and other FNO stocks tomorrow. So it's quite likely to be a lot of short covering. Remember, last 3 days, the Nifty actually fell and tested the 21-day EMA. Starting really off the blocks, Hindustan Copper, most active counter, 10% higher, ladies and gentlemen, 525. Hindustan Zinc, 1.7% higher, 648. Coforge, RVNL, Vedant and IRFC are the other stocks that are moving up. This is a combination of an overstretched metals trade and incipient pre-budget rally that is happening in the market. Advanced decline ratios, ladies and gentlemen, even Stevens, 954 shares in the green and 859 in the red. If you look at how the indices are stacked up, again, even Stevens, out of 19, 9 are in the green, 10 are in the red. Nifty Metals, IT, financial services are in the green. Nifty now barely about 20 points higher. Let me just mark the all-time highs for the market. Metals, and metals. National Aluminium 310, Hindalco 881, Vedant 605, and a good one, Eicher Motors. Please keep an eye out on this one. MCX, no surprise here. Craftsman Automation, and of course Titan. So this is a quasi metal, pure metal play that's playing out as a global trade, liquidity trade on Dalal Street as well. Sakshi.
Absolutely. You rightly pointed out, Shell metals are on fire at this point in time. Now you look at the MCX silver. Copper is at a lifetime high, viewers. The silver is at 2,47,194 rupees per kilogram versus 2,39,787 rupees per kilogram that was seen on Friday. Copper is now at a new high of 1,354 rupees per kilogram, whereas gold now nudges at 1,40,000 rupees per 10 grams on the MCX. It's clearly precious metals along with base metals now taking the center stage right now. Avinashi, coming back to you, how are you looking at this entire space of precious metals, base metals? What would be the strategy going into 2026 for investors?
No, I think given the choices of gold, silver and copper, I think gold definitely appears to be the most stable. I think from a stock market perspective, I think one should look at the gold finance companies, because these are the companies which would derive the maximum advantage. My sense is Muthoot Finance, Manappuram Finance could be properly looked upon as proxies for the gold finance, gold commodity. My sense is that this price will increase, and definitely that is going to be very strongly reflected into their financials. And plus, it's an asset, kind of strong asset kind of business, very little bad debts. To that extent, I think Manappuram can be accumulated. Even Muthoot, from a longer term perspective, FY27 looks quite positive. So we have been telling our clients to actually look at gold finance companies because here the overall tailwinds are very positive, and I think the market has also been very well developed by the PSU banks, especially somebody like SBI or maybe a Canara Bank or a Bank of Baroda.
Sure.
So definitely, I think worthwhile accumulating these stocks even at the current levels.
Absolutely. Avinashi, what would you say on Vedanta, which has won this bid for graphite, vanadium mining block now? Most of the brokerage houses are penciling this as a strategic entry into critical and battery metals as well. A long-term positive, they say, for the company as it aligns with EV and energy transition themes. How would you look at Vedanta right now?
No, I think around 600 one can look at it, but one must also remember the fact that they've got the NCLT approval for the demerger. So very soon, Vedanta is going to be, broken up into 5 separate companies. So to that extent, I think this corporate development also will play out. So yes, I think around 600, if you can get the stock, stay invested for the next 12 to 15 months, you could see a lot of action, in the Vedanta stock. I think post demerger, we'll have to see how each company does, but definitely at the current level around 600, it could be accumulated.
Fantastic. All right. Auto space, as Shell, you had pointed out, that space is also buzzing. What are the stocks that are, gathering pace right now?
Sakshi, I would just focus on one, which is Eicher Motors, a fresh breakout on that one. Plus, I'll keep an eye out on Maruti. These are the two stocks that I have in mind on the long side. Maruti just flat 16,600 for you. Eicher Motors 73.32, galloping ahead on a fresh record high. I would also pay a lot of attention to the small mid-cap stocks in the pharma sector, in particular Glenmark, in particular Ipca, in particular Granules. Lots of good positive indications coming in from that space, Sakshi.
All right. Let's also focus on the defense pack, particularly the public sector companies there that will be in spotlight. Remember, the Defense Acquisition Council is all set to meet later today. And according to many reports, this may approve the deals for as much as 80,000 crore rupees. And the meeting, which will be chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, is likely to fast-track several key procurement proposals, including the emergency purchases as well. The Navy has already flagged an urgent requirement for medium-range surface-to-air missiles developed jointly by DRDO and manufactured by Bharat Dynamics. Remember, the Indian Air Force is also likely to seek emergency clearance for the Astra Mark II air-to-air missile. And for more on this, We're also now joined by India Today Television's Shivani Sharma. Shivani, help us understand with the broad agenda of the DSE meeting today, and of course, which are the companies that are going to be in focus is something that we will discuss with both Avinash and Shell. But help us understand, for the defense sector, what does it mean?
Sakshi, this happens to be the last Defence Acquisition Council meeting, and definitely there are big ticket deals that will be approved. And as you were also mentioning, that it's expected that around 80,000 crore rupees worth of projects might be approved. The focus has been to improve the air defences of the system, to improve the enhance these systems like drones, and there are multiple demands of these services, including the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. So for them, the emergency procurements can be done after these approvals. So it's been expected that MRSAM, that is being indigenously developed, that particular system, and Astra Mark II, these will be on the agenda. I must also tell you, Sakshi, there are around 20 points in this Defence Acquisition Council meeting that are to be approved today. So we can understand that this is a very important one, because this is the one which is happening at the end of the year to fast-track the emergency procurements within the armed forces.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Shivani, for all that. Vinashji, coming to you now. Important meeting there. The last one, as Shivani just pointed out, but definitely some of the emergency clearances that could be pointed out for Navy and for the Air Force as well. How would you look at the opportunities that this presents to the defense companies and for investors?
No, I think this is a very important meeting because emergency, procurements are going to be finalized. And I think, in this respect, as far as the surface-to-air missiles are concerned, Bharat Dynamics has a significant edge. So you could see a lot of action here. But I think, even the marine companies like Mazgaon Dock or Cochin Shipyard, these are also companies which are going to benefit. So I think probably, once the formal announcements comes in, you'll see a stock-specific upside. But overall, the defense space looks interesting. We are hopeful that in the budget also, a lot of Make in India initiatives are going to be pushed out. So you could definitely look at even other stocks like HAL, Bharat Electronics. But in this respect, I think it would be Bharat Dynamics and some of the marine players which I mentioned, which are going to be in focus today once the formal announcements comes out.
Okay, so BDL as well as some of the shipbuilding companies to be in focus. But Avinashji, would you say for those who have stayed away from defense, because for a large part of 2025, we didn't see much of an action there. But as a pre-budget positioning, it will be a good time to invest in defense stocks right now?
Yeah, I think my sense is, most of the defense companies, despite the fact have not outperformed in 2025, these are long-term structural bets for the next 2 to 3 years. And I think orders are coming in almost every second month. And the Make in India policy is getting more and more aggressive. So I think Cochin Shipyard at the current levels, something like a HAL or a Bharat Electronics would definitely be accumulated not only from a budget perspective, but for the next 12 to 15 months.
Absolutely. And for the shipping stocks, remember, viewers, that the government has also notified guidelines for shipbuilding assistance development schemes with 44,700 crore rupees of an outlay coming in there. So that is an added on to what Avinashji does mention, that for the shipbuilding space will be important to track there as well. Let's quickly go to Shell for his last comment before we shut shop for the as far as this morning edition is concerned. Shell, on the defense story, what else do we expect going forward?
Well, Sakshi, what's really happening is a pre-budget lineup.
Yeah.
So everything is moving in the PSU segments. Look at the metal space. So Hind Copper and of
even
course
railways.
Hind Zinc,
Yeah.
as also Steel Authority. Look at the PSU banking setup. That's really, really strong. And therefore, defense is now moving up. Look at the railway space.
Yeah.
And these are beaten down beyond recognition. So railways is something that I'm critically long on in terms of the sheer thought process. PSU banks on dips, metals on dips, and of course the entire gamut of small cap and mid cap pharma. Sakshi.
Okay. Avinashji, is railways also coming onto your radar as well, right ahead of the budget then? A month to go there?
No, I think railways also is going to be a buzzing sector, at least for the near term before the budget. I think as Shell pointed out, wagon manufacturers, or for that reason, even electric transmission players like RVNL, I think definitely there could be a lot of activity in companies like Titagar, Texmaco, Jupiter Wagons, RVNL. I would say that, if somebody has a slightly higher risk appetite, one can definitely play on these companies. Texmaco looks very attractive. I think it's a beaten down stock, but a very strong order book of almost 4,000 odd crores. And I think if there is another big, large wagon order announced in the budget, that could possibly mean a lot of fresh business for all these wagon companies.
Absolutely. Avinashji, before we let you go for the new year 2026, any key stock or stocks that you've picked out for investors?
So I think, see, within the wagon manufacturers, we are positive on Jupiter wagons. We feel that the stock has been beaten down very badly, but
Yes.
fundamentals remain very strong. And from the hospitality space, companies like Indian Hotels, Lemon Tree, I think these can also be accumulated because this is going to be a very strong quarter for the 6-month period, October to March. And yes, from the PSU banks, something like a Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, SBI, I think banking also is going to be outperforming in the next 6 to 12 months. So I think you've
So
got to
the
pick it.
entire PSU focus, the PSU space, do you think that will have a comeback in the new year 2026?
I think it should because numbers are good. I think the visibility of earnings is good. So I think within that, if you talk about maybe the construction companies, something like an Ircon or even like an NPCC, these are also very strong structural bets which can be bet upon. But the PSU banking space actually looks very attractive. So here I think you could definitely expect a decent upside in the next say 6 to 12 months.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you so much then, Avinash ji, for being with us on the program and helping us with all your insights as far as the markets are concerned. Here's also wishing you a fantastic upcoming new year. That's 2026. And may it turn out to be an extremely profitable one for you and for your clients and a joyous one for you and for your loved ones as well. So thank you so much. Of course, we will be catching up more often in the new year to seek more insights on the markets also, from here for you. All right, viewers, time for a short break now, but don't forget to tune in back again at 3 p.m. for the market closing action with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we start the first day of a fresh week and the last week of 2025 on a strong note as far as Nifty is concerned. A very warm welcome to all of you on Business Today Television. 20 points higher on the Nifty, 26,000 is what the bulls are defending a day before the monthly expiry of FNO contracts, 59,063 on the Nifty Bank, and the IT index flat as flat can be. But the rally, ladies and gentlemen, is in metals, metals and metals. By all stretches of common imagination, it's a stock, it's a sector that's overstretched to a very, very long format on all technical charts. The top gainer today is Hindustan Copper, 7% higher. And would you believe it that the first 20 minutes, first 15 minutes of trade have already seen volumes of 1,476 crore rupees. Hindustan Copper 508, 3 crore shares have been traded. Now it's ably followed by Hindustan Zinc 1.4% higher, 645. You have Vedant 2% higher. You have GMDC 1.7% higher. Steel Authority, Hindalco, MMTC, National Aluminium, all of them showing strong gains in a market that is extremely concentrated on the metal space. In terms of top gainers, apart from metals, you have HBL Engineering 4.8% higher, 942. This is the railway trade, in particular the pre-budget rally that is setting into the market. Fact is doing pretty well, 2.8% higher, 2.9% higher at 914. Both electrode makers in the steel segment, which is HEG and Graphite India, in top form, and a part of the defense network doing pretty well, which is Mazgaon Dock, GRSE, Shipping Corporation of India, and of course who can forget the strong move that is also coming into BEL. Apart from that, in terms of losers, you have profit booking in Castrol, you have Asahi India slipping 3% lower. On the railway side, RITES 1.6% down, 248. Remember, these are all bit profit booking that has happened. We'll take a quick view on the market with Vaishali Parekh. She's a technical analyst at Prabhudas Leeladhar. A very good morning to you, Vaishali. A strong start on Monday. A view on the Nifty, please.
Very good morning, Shelly. Yes, so Nifty has been very much in a range bound, but I would say 25,800 continues to be a strong support for this week. And I would look at Nifty waiting for it to cross 26,300. So till then, I would say it's pretty much a range bound, 25,800 to 26,300. And as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, that too, it's quite in a sideways. 58,500 would act as the support, and 60,000 would act as the resistance for this week.
Okay, metals all the way, Vaishali, but Hindustan Copper stealing the show as we look ahead. 7% higher, tremendous volumes, both a price and volume breakout. What are your charts telling you, and what could be behind this momentum?
So I would say actually my target was 550, and that's where we are right now. I would say wait and watch. I mean, I have suggested to book partial profits at the 550. We'll wait. If it moves beyond that, then I think it's still in for a further rally. But otherwise, well, the bias overall is positive. And if you recollect, even last time when we had, I was on the show, we spoke about sale, which was lagging behind. So yes, overall, it's a euphoric move in all metals.
Okay, fair point. Is this something which is because of the underlying strength in copper as a metal, or is this something more that you see on the charts? The volumes are substantial. Hard to imagine when we saw 1,500 crores in the first 20 minutes of trade as far as copper is concerned.
So yes, I mean, chartically speaking, of course, it has been showing a lot of strength since quite some time. But well, as we read that there is a tremendous demand, I would like to believe that, yes. So.
Fair point. Apart from the view on the Nifty and metals, are there any other stocks that you're looking at positively on the charts?
Definitely. So you just mentioned Mazgaon Docks, and then we saw some momentum begun already in rail stocks as well. So overall, I'm seeing rotational move coming in almost all stocks. In fact, now that I'm looking at, it's RCF coming as high of the day. So even fertilizer stocks, I guess I would take it as a pre-budget rally. There is KEI Industry, which is showing strength. So yes, number of stocks which are showing good buying opportunities. In fact, as the day began, I was also looking at IOC. So these stocks should be given a look at because technically very well placed. And I think if the momentum continues, this can give a good profitable trade. But for now, Mazgaon Docks is in limelight.
Okay. Apart from Mazgaon Dock, would you want to analyze Garden Reach and Cochin Shipyard on charts?
Definitely. So we have in fact recommended this as a basket. Garden Reach also, it is attempting to move higher, but for now technical resistance comes at 2650 levels, and I would say for a buying opportunity one should wait for a little bit of a dip. 2400 would be ideal, and the further strength is convincing only about 2700 levels. So for now it's a trading zone, but yes, chartically Cochin as well as Garden Reach, they all look attractive. In fact, HAL was also much spoken about, and we saw number of times taking support at 4250, and now it's giving us a clarity that yes, it has crossed 4450, which was a hurdle, near-term hurdle. So I think right now also 4456. So if this stock also sustains at these higher levels, I think we are looking at 4600, 4800. So overall, it's a basket of all these stocks. Even BEL has got into new round of momentum. So yes, I'm focusing on all these stocks.
Okay, fair point. Let's just get deeper into the market. and take your opinion on the auto space. Where do you see breakouts happening, and what would be a favorite stock on the long side?
So for now, Maruti is still a good stock to be looked into. This is one stock that I like, and well, it's on the verge of a breakout. So yes, even TVS Motors is doing very well. So that is one stock to my liking. But besides these, I am also looking at auto ancillaries. So that is Samarth and Motherson. Now, even in the cash counter JBM Auto, these are the stocks which look attractive and can show good returns from here on. So yes, these are the stocks to my liking.
Okay, fair point. Any spaces that are getting weaker in the market? What doesn't look good to you?
Well, I've not really got a chance to see sector-wise. Overall, I'm seeing a good positive momentum coming in almost all. It's just that pharma has yet not participated, so I won't say it's weak, but we need to see a good momentum coming in this, because if we are forming a view of a positive bias in Nifty, I think that there should be participation coming in almost all sectors.
Okay, that's a fair point. Just look at how PNB intraday has moved. It was a deep red candle in the morning, went all the way down to 116.5 and is now at 120. So this is how, ladies and gentlemen, stronger sectors which are showing correction are getting bought into. Look at the Nifty PSU banking index, intraday low of somewhere like 82.60 and now at 82.91, driven primarily by the uptick in Bank of Baroda, Indian Bank, Canara Bank, as also PNB. So that is strength that is coming in. What else is exciting? Well, a new high on the Nifty Metals Index. There is nothing you can do about it. Overstretched as overstretched can be. Look at Tata Steel, 173 for you. Intraday low was 169.50. Steel Authority of India, 132.50 was the low, now on 138. This is a very, very liquid counter. A view on Steel Authority, Vaishali?
Steel Authority, after a very long time, has moved past 132, 133 range, and now it's 138. So now I would say that yes, I would have taken it as a momentum-based trading. But if it crosses 140 levels, then I think this also can surge high towards 155, 160.
Okay, fair point. Would you want to step on Tata Steel? This is also showing signs of huge momentum. Actually, the ferrous space is now catching up with all that we've seen in non-ferrous as also broader metals. A view on Tata Steel?
So Tata Steel also is showing good candle right now. We've seen a good surge. It's already up by 2.5%. So technical target resistance, near-term target resistance comes at 176. Above that, even that should do go closer to 188, 190.
Okay, fair point. So that's the structure, ladies and gentlemen. 940 almost on the screen. Nice modest green tick on the market. Remember, it's the last week of 2025 that's been very, very painful for most investors. Yes, we've seen a record high on the Nifty, but look at the small cap index, look at the mid cap index, all of them in pain, and all those portfolios, ladies and gentlemen, are in deep, deep shade of red. Tomorrow, not only is it the last trading day of 2025, it is also the monthly expiry for December. So those are structures that you need to look at. Let's get to Vaishali. Vaishali, strong rollovers, where are you seeing them?
So, well, right now it's Titagar Wagon, which is looking quite positive. That is one of the stocks. Then there is NBCC that I think one can look into. NBCC also has given a breakout and it's doing well. So for now, these two stocks.
Okay, fair point. In terms of the strength in Nifty, would you want to comment on L&T and Reliance, and as also Eicher Motors?
Sure. So I think let's talk about Larsen. Good uptrend, and I think currently once again from its support level. So if 4,000, I would take it as a support, and well, 4,200 is the target resistance. So not much of an upside, but yes, the trend is intact. So once we see momentum setting in this, I think this could go to a higher level. Reliance Industries, I would say that too is holding on with its support right now, and 1540 acts as a new support, and 1580 to 1600 would be my next target. But what I saw in the banking stock as the day began, Kotak Bank. Kotak Bank, after a very long time, has given a good momentum once again. So I would focus on this. And you asked me about Aisha Motor also. So Aisha Motor also is continuously in an uptrend. No new buying strategy for me. Just hold it with a trailing stop loss.
Okay, so Maruti is your favorite. Aisha, I have requested you to view on, and of course, one needs to look at the kind of breakouts that are happening on LNT. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the finest blue chips that we have. 4 days of dips is what we've seen all of last week. We are starting Monday on a strong note. If you look at the monthly gain on LNT, it's flat, but if you look at it from the point of view of March 2025, the stock was at 3142 and at the moment 4,000 rupees. This is a rally worth looking into. At the same time, please also consult your independent financial advisor. What else is buzzing in trade? Let me mark that for you. In terms of strength, it's coming in on MMTC 9% higher, 70 rupees. Remember, low ticket, the 5-day average is 1.62 crores. So in the first 20 odd minutes of trade, you've seen the 5-day average cleaned out, and this is despite the fact that Friday's volume was substantial, 7 crores. So please keep an eye out on that one. A favorite stock on the railway side, Vaishali, where are charts looking up?
So well, Jupiter Wagon has been my all-time favorite, and I've always recommended this. This did do very well. It's currently at a resistance. I think 200-day moving average is acting as a resistance. So I would say a good fresh buying opportunity would come at again 300 levels. And once we see a cross of 350 levels, this is ready for 380, 400. Likewise, we saw a good run up coming in also Tex Maco Rail. So this is another stock which I often track, and this is one stock to my liking. It's currently 140. We need to see the stock move past 145, 148 levels, and sustaining above that would give us a target of 160, 170. So yes, these two stocks, I would say it still has upside potential.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Vaishali, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to meeting you again as quickly as possible. But here's wishing you all the best for 2026.
Best wishes to you
2025
too.
has passed off with a fairly painful time. Let's hope the next year brings a lot of cheer. Time to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. The first session, the first half an hour session has been good. It's been fabulous for metals, and it's been good for the broader markets. The Nifty ahead of the monthly expiry tomorrow is showing signs of short covering, and let's hope the funds get into action and close December 31st on a new note. And with that hope, ladies and gentlemen, wrapping it up for now, but remain glued to Business Today television.